Hello there, sinners. I'm back. And hello, Artemis. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Hope you're having a good day. Now, I must confess, today did not go as planned. Today did not go as planned. Hey, Judas, buddy. How we doing? I see you found the best two emote combination right there. Wolf and swords. They say there are two wolves inside of you. Both of them are Lapland. Yes. Today did not go as planned. Holy shit. Let me just rant for a second about how long I was in hospital today. You already know the answer to how I'm doing. I said in this stream. Shit, fair enough, you EP. Oh, EP boy.
Skill issue.
I suppose that was a skill issue, fair enough. Damn, I've only just got back and I'm being abused. Let's see how it is. I have no idea what you said it though. Oh, you have no sound. Ah. I see. Okay, well somehow it did. You did very well then. I was gonna say, I don't think the tracking without V-Bridger, I don't think the tracking is capable of being good enough for you to, like, read my lips. The other thing, obviously, is I sadly do not have the little plugin which lets live subtitles happen. I don't know if you can get it to work with Streamlabs, but I might look into it. I have seen some people do it. But yeah, so I was in so I had to go hospital to like, get like a checkup, basically. However, I think I have no idea what you were saying. I thought the subtitles I needed. I mean, if you're gonna watch the stream silent, yes, I suppose they would be, wouldn't they? The 5 gift badges are inactive. I see. Twitch just alerting me about the gift badges. But yes, just imagine what he's saying in your mind. Could be anything. I could be saying anything completely out of pocket. But yeah, so I went to the hospital at like for 9:15. Well, about 9 o'clock I got there, right? This scuff, isn't he? Bruh. But yeah, so I went there for then, about 9ish. Got seen pretty quickly. And then all of a sudden, like, by the way, you're allergic to, like hyper allergic to stuff. I'm like, what do you mean I'm hyper allergic? Like, so you're really allergic to dust mites and grass, like, really allergic, like, many times the average person's allergicness to it. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. I never knew this. I mean, grass I kind of figured, I'll be honest. My eyes weeping like fuck whenever grass gets cut. I mean, yeah, that figures. But, yeah, so was that. Then I had to go have more blood taken, which for some reason this time took the life out of me a little bit. Can't fully explain why. I just felt worse after taking it. I'm fine now, I think, but still, it was weird. And then I had another X-ray for good measure. So I had several things done while I was in hospital, and they gave me some medication to help with allergies. It may affect my mood, apparently, so if I have mood shifts, I need you to tell me. Hopefully I'll be fine, though. I've had one today already, so we'll see how it goes. Now then, they really said fuck you today. Well, here's the thing, it got worse, right? So about within the space of an hour, I got all that done, right? Then the annoying part. Now, as you may know, my country has free healthcare. However, that means anyone for any reason can come into a hospital and be unafraid of charge. So, A&E can tend to be a bit of a fucking state. Now, for some reason, it took longer for my dad to be seen by A&E than it did for me to be seen. Oh, yes. What the fuck is a kilometer? Yeah. Well, one thing I guess you guys over there can laugh about is you get seen quicker. A lot quicker. Now, don't get me wrong, when I had to go in there for an emergency, I was seen instantly. But I will say I've definitely seen some piss takes today. We were there from like 10 odd o'clock to like 12. We were there several hours waiting. And bear in mind, it was for like a minor injury to the eye, by the way, not a small thing. Thankfully, they got the bit of metal out of his eye. That's the perks of his day job, night job, I guess, more exact. But yeah, so he had to have that flicked out. Not fun. And then they had to give him some stuff, but like we were about to walk out when they called him because we'd been there that long, and the guy hadn't slept yet because he works like a long night shift, like 12 hours. It's a long night. But so we were we were actually at the hospital for like half the day. So that was my day, essentially, pretty much. So hopefully you've all had more interesting days than me. Because so far all I've discovered is, wow, you can find yourself in hospital without even having to stay there for a long time sometimes. But the next appointment I have with them is a phone call, so it should be a lot quicker, because they're a very inundated clinic, so I'm assuming it's going to be fine. That reminds me of that one time I went to the vet because my very small dog got her arm broken because my shepherd jumped on her, and I was there for like 7 hours and she wasn't even taken until 2 hours in. Jesus. I understand like the rest of the time, but 2 hours just to be seen, goddamn. And vets aren't free. I mean, they're not free in my country either. You pay good money for a vet. But they're in high demand, I guess, but Jesus. Yeah, that's essentially how long we had to wait, pretty much. It perplexes me sometimes. And the thing is, as well, with this case, bear in mind, I had, in the space of an hour, been seen by, like a medical assistant to have blood pressure checked, that kind of thing. Been seen by, like, a specialist assistant. So the doctor, kind of, but the assist the specialist, essentially. So I got seen by them. They then did all their stuff, showed me a bunch of results, showed me my x-ray for the first time, and holy shit, I saw how fucked up my lungs were at the time. If you've ever had an x-ray of your chest, by the way, folks, your lungs are meant to be quite a black area because there should just be air there, right? Mine were almost white. Well, white in a lot of areas. You shouldn't have white dots on an x-ray in your fucking lungs. So, I didn't know how fucked I was, but holy shit. Yeah, I'm fine now. Obviously I'm fine now, but fuck. I didn't realise how bad it looked. It looked bad. But they were saying that my recovery time was very remarkable. So, at least my, when things are working properly, I'm good at recovering. They knocked me down, but I got up again pretty quick, actually, so... At least that's, I've got that going for me, for now at least. But... yeah, so, I had blood taken. I had an x-ray, all in an hour. I was very impressed. Bear in mind, the blood and x-ray were not pre-scheduled, they just sent me to get those. And I got a prescription in. Like, all these things were done within an hour. It was ridiculous. It was very, very quick. And trust me, I know how slow a hospital can be, so I was quite impressed. But God, the A&E. Oh my God. It was ridiculous. I had to get x-rays up my chest, but I had to go get an x-ray on my head before, though, because my head... Oh, Jesus, man. With a light switch... Only in elementary school, I was... For a light switch? God damn. What kind of light switch? Brother, what kind of light switch did you hit? What kind of light switch was this? Was this the Bruce Lee of light switches? Did you dare turn this thing on and it decided everybody was in fact kung fu fighting and fucking smacks you on? Holy shit. This is like a titanium light switch. Jesus, what? Your elementary school Mortal Kombat? God damn. I'm glad to hear right now, but Jesus. We were playing soccer in the gym and I tripped my head and smashed. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ, your head, but also Jesus Christ, that's a strong light switch. This is like that guy that decided to replace his mailbox with corrugated steel because some guy in a van kept running into his mailbox. So he managed to total the guy's van because he replaced his mailbox with corrugated steel. Holy shit. Yeah. Well, you should be at least somewhat familiar with the X-ray process. Although mine was like a stand-up one, you sort of plant yourself against like a screen. The next year, all light switches got removed from the building and got replaced with buttons. God damn. I mean, to be fair, your school clearly must have bought bulletproof ones or something. Like, the kind of shit they'd lock the president with. We can't have light switches anymore. Why? Because it turns out we ordered the Annihilate a Child's Head light switches. We installed those MVP light switches that get more kills than the school shooter. And goddamn. Fucking hell. Are you sure that wasn't a microscopic pit bull? Are you sure the light switch wasn't called Princess? And a small pit bull was inside of it, awaiting your arrival? Fucking hell. Oh. The gym teacher probably called it Princess. Call it Princess the way that fucking thing savaged that kid. Oh. Honestly, I could have fucking put my head through one of those switches, listening to the... We were sat in front of a, like, Costa, like a essentially like a vending machine, but for Costa coffee, and it just kept replaying the same, like, bloody pouring noise, like, every 2 seconds. I was going crazy. I was going schizophrenic, listening to that thing for hours. I would unplug it. Honestly, I was tempted. I was tempted. However, I think the police that were walking around the place at the time wouldn't have been too impressed. I'm not sure what they were doing there, but I suspect it may be because on the way to the hospital we did see someone had fallen off a motorbike. So they may have been coming in about that. Because that would have been the closest hospital. But holy fuck. It was busy in there after a bit. Like, the initial check-in took ages, but oh. Oh no. No, not... Why? Who the fuck put Skibbity Toilet in Fortnite? I mean, sure, it probably belongs there, to be honest, but... I'm depressed. Hearing that. It makes me want to game end faster. Good lord. It's a good thing I don't play Fortnite. It's fine. I play other games like Marvel Rivals sometimes. Which will probably inevitably get it somehow. Jeff the Shark's latest skin is Skippity Toilet. Fuck that shark, by the way. That heal is too powerful, I'm sorry. I had that fucker with the team up and giving the ice balls. Fuck that shark, it's evil. My friend sent me a DM of SS as soon as it came. Damn. Bruh. Man, bought it immediately. These Zoomers, man. I say this as I probably no, literally am the same generation. These Zoomers though. Was he born after 2003 out of any curiosity? I only ask this as I have a theory. I have a reasonable theory that after 2003 the brain rot started. I've ranted about this many times, but the one guy from my day job, who was born in 2003, unironically says, "What the Sigma?" My conclusion as such is, at that point, it all went downhill. I didn't even know his birthday, so I couldn't tell you. Damn. Oh, we only knew his birth year. If it was 2003, then my theory's right. This is based on no science and purely my own biased opinion. Which is, of course, correct. As you know, of course, being a content creator means that my terrible takes are, of course, correct, as long as I say they're correct. You know me. I always have those good takes. Let me pull up with the DM what year you born. Slide that DM. Yo, for no particular reason, brother, what year you born in? When were you entered into this world? When did you log in? You know. Read the calculations here. What year did you log into the server of real life? Mistakenly, and now you can't log out. You're in hardcore survival mode, and you ain't getting out anytime soon. That reminds me, for some reason I've started watching, like, I forget who the creator is now, but just like these 100 Ark Survival players get thrown into a Ark server. All countries where you just know nothing about each other, but you are. I mean, I only know, like, some things about some of you. I only know enough about Rouge to know about Rouge, kinda. But I mostly get along with the fella. So, you know. And then there's a friend of one of my players we met recently. Don't know a thing about the guy either, but he seems chill. So, you don't need... I think it's just a thing. It's just a thing of us fellas. We don't need to know each other. We simply just need to be able to vibe. It's less about knowing them, more about the vibe. My name is Walt. The Heartwell White. Damn. You're saying your name is Walter White? Yo? I should have the Vine Boom prepped for that. No, but I need to get a big... One of these days I need to get, like, the bigger Stream Deck. I've got the little Stream Deck, but I need the bigger Stream Deck. With soundboard plugged in. We need that Vine Boom on tap. We need that Vine Boom on tap whenever necessary. Hotkey Vine Boom immediately. Metal Pipe, of course, will be on there. And naturally, at some point, the brain rot will force me to buy Discord Nitro, so when I enter a call, it says something deranged. Very important. Very important. Hell, if possible, randomize the sound from a list. Like how people, when I join, plays Divine Boom. Exactly right. But just have it random. So it just picks a random fucking thing. It'll have all the best quotes. Have Vine Boom. It'll have, I don't know, Donald saying China. It'll have... I don't know. We'll figure shit out. Oh, I can't do it. Discord. Discord, how could you not do this feature? They'll do it eventually. Listen, if we just suggest them do it with Nitro requirement, they'll do it. They'll do it. That reminds me, Streamlabs tried to tempt me with Nitro earlier, actually. I had to do some fiddling because it said I didn't have my Streamlabs Ultra. But I can get it for 3 months free. But then I have to start paying, and I'm like, do I really want to pay for Discord Nitro? Like, I use Discord a lot, kinda, but I also don't. For any of you who are in the Discord server, you know I'm as active as not, but also am active. Like, it depends on the day. Some days I'm hyperactive, some days I'm really not active. And sometimes that means I'm actually doing nothing, but most times I'm doing something. The only reason I pay for Nitro is because the file limit. That's fair. Be able to send higher files, that's nice. I get round that, you see. I use if I'm trying to like send my players like a link to like a PDF of a book or something, I use OneDrive. Yeah, send a OneDrive link. Because links don't have the same file size. They're teeny tiny. I can send them links. Yeah. Big brain me. So, one sec. Sorry about that. Right, OneDrive is more like... Oh, bruh. This guy. This guy. Nah. We gotta get that OneDrive link in. How I send all my links to people, my books, the things. You know, I was going to do a bit more Dark Heresy planning, but they just kind of happened, so that might be tomorrow. We'll see. I'm in no rush. Like, I'll be realistic with you, I'm not expecting to have it all ready till probably February, to be honest. At the current rate I'm going, and I'm not rushing. I'd rather take my time and have everything ready, do my session 0, and then, you know, do the shit I need to do, then rush it. Because if I rush it, it'll be shitty for the players and shitty for you guys. Because obviously, as you know, I intend to stream my Dark Heresy campaign. Because I've always wanted to do like a streamed TTRPG, so it just makes sense to me. Also, I've just noticed I'm clipping my text a lot. There we go. Shimmy over a little. Also, depending on how long it takes and how well things line up, I may or may not have an outfit ready for it. Maybe. If I don't, I'll simply have it when it's ready. So it's fine. Either way, I win. It's just simply a matter of how things line up. We'll see. We will see. But yeah, so... aren't you doing a campaign stream not dressed like... I miss it. You are doing a campaign stream. Listen here, Judas, I'll dress however I want. Listen, this is like... I mean, I'll say this. I am less clothed in this model than I was my last one, admittedly. However, we do have a new fit coming. I mean, there is technically, yes, more skin showing on this model. Slut, I say, how dare you? How fucking dare you refer to thee as a slut? How dare you? This fucker right here. Where is Rouge right now? Where is my mod when I need him? Honestly. Slap the shit out of this man. He starved to death. I can assure you he didn't, and if he did, I have the Necronomicon on standby, okay? Listen, his ass is getting raised dead immediately. I have that shit on lock. Death Ward has been cast many times over, at high levels. I have all the shit ready. And if that doesn't work somehow, I will puppet him like a meat puppet. I'll learn voodoo and, you know, perform the act of wielding him like a meat puppet or something. Also, I'm sorry to anyone walking in just now who's hearing me describe talking about wielding someone like a meat puppet. Like strings attached to them. And then I can do the Ultron line, there are no strings on me. Oh good, my snoozes have all refreshed. Oh, let me just stretch my back a little bit. So did someone follow? Well, I wasn't even live. Lennis H. Sin followed 2 days ago. Well, thank you very much for the follow there. Which is my favorite meme. He's gonna walk into stream at some point and be like, why is everyone saying I'm the meat puppet? He's gonna have no context to this. And you know what? We're gonna keep it that way. No one tell him. No one tell him. He can never know the context. He's simply not allowed to know the context. Listen, it's what you sign when you become the mod. You know, when you become a moderator, it's what you sign. I don't make the rules. Does he know? Of course not. He'll only find out upon death. When I reanimate him and send him back to the computer screen to moderate. Listen, a mild bit of necromancy is fine. Just a mild bit. Just a little bit. No one's going to question it. Well, they will, but counterpoint. I raise them too. And it just escalates. Mild Bobby sauce shoot. It off my head when you say that. Mild Bobby sauce shoot up in my head when you. I think I read that right though. Sorry about that. Coughing a little bit. I don't know why I'm coughing a smidge. I think it's just the weather. It's fine, I have my flask on hand. If you don't know more about sauce, please look it up. My favourite images. 1 second then, let's have a look here. I'm gonna regret this, aren't I? This is like... Ah! What? What the fuck is that? Hang on a second. This fucking what? Someone's got a STL. Someone has an STL of this, by the way. In case you didn't know, there's actually an STL someone's made of this. For those who don't know, there's a little, like a restaurant ketchup bottle, but with SpongeBob on it. Okay, now. I watched a lot of SpongeBob as a child. I don't even remember this scene even happened. Maybe it was after my time. It did keep going on for a little bit after I stopped watching it, and then it stopped, but... Mad Bobby sauce. Fucking damn it. Just an equal bit of sauce. Exactly. You understand a smidge of necromancy, like a little drop. Necromancy is like spice, you don't need too much. Listen, I can compare necromancy and spice. One will kill you, one will resurrect you. From season 5, I think. I don't even know which season which, honestly. I could not tell you. See, I've recently been watching a channel called Urban Rescue Ranch. And I'd watched it before, then I'd stopped for a while, and then I rediscovered him. But, you see, I can tell when about is done like a video because it's sad, but I recognize what structures he's built in that time or what animals are still there. It's weird. Like, he had a prairie dog called Big Ounce. Poor fella, sadly, is no longer with us, but it's like, oh, it tells the older stuff because of the Yahoo Big Ounce at the start of the episode. We just rarely watch YouTube. Do you really? I'm honestly surprised about that. I probably watch too much, to be honest. I probably should do more, but I tend to find myself just watching YouTube. Some might say, but Barons, why don't you do reaction content then? Well, you see, I'm not a huge fan of it, so I tend not to do it. I could, but it's just, no. I'm not huge on it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe at some point I'll sacrifice my morals and just do it, but I don't know. If I'm going to watch YouTube, I'll watch it in my own time. There's some exceptions now and then, like if there's a game trailer, maybe we'll watch that here, but to be honest, I'm quite happy to, more often than not, just not, and then just do it in my own time, so... Like I said before, there's only like a small handful of YouTubers I watch. Fair enough. I guess I can just consume what the algorithm gives sometimes. There's some exceptions. Like, there's some people I specifically will watch. But occasionally it's just like, something new to consume. To fill the void of my mind. It stops the bad thoughts, you see. And the ringing in my ears. Which like to come at the exact same time. It's great. It's a wonderful duo. YouTube brain rot consumer. I mean, not quite that bad. I'm not quite that bad. I haven't quite succumbed to full-on brain rot content just yet. But you never know. Maybe someday. But not this day. No. I'm not quite that level of zoomy just yet. Nay, I have resilience from the zooms for now. I tend to like long form content anyway, so, you know, speedy brain rot shit just doesn't do it for me. Give me a nice 8-hour Darkwood video, okay? I actually quite enjoyed that 8-hour Darkwood video. Pyro makes a lot of slop, but that Inflation Enjoyer does sometimes make some good content. When he wants to. He knows how to. He just knows the slop makes him more money, which is honestly the tragedy of it all. Most people make slop because slop makes you money. Maybe I'm a bit of a prude, but I'd like to. I try not to make slop because I don't. I don't know. I guess for me, I want to be able to look back at something I make and go, I have tried and put effort into that. Even if it doesn't do well, I would rather know that it only did badly because of things outside of my control. Angel slop. Oh no. We can't make the Cobral Slop channel. You don't listen. You don't want me talking about random like VTuber or YouTuber bullshit, do you? Just opens up the video. So Nishi Sanji, guys. Oh fuck. Guess which agency is up once again, being looked at for horrific actions? You guessed it. Say it with me now. They could be any colour, but they chose to be a black company. I mean, I'm not wrong. Like, on a side note, by the way, holy shit. Is that company capable of staying out the news for 5 minutes? I don't think a week has gone by since the Selene incident. They haven't been in the news for a week. I feel like I hear the name Niji Sanji and they fucked up again at least once a week now. Now, half of that, yes, is people trying to make money and become famous off talking about Niji Sanji. That is true. Unfortunately, it worked for quite a few of them, and then the rest of them tried it as well, so that doesn't help things. But hey, you know, get your bag. Niji who? Yes. I presume you... yes, Niji who. That's what people will be saying soon, I think. That is what people will eventually be saying about the EN branch at this fucking rate. Like, holy fuck. I'd never heard... Wait, really? What do you mean? Are you being sarcastic here? One problem with text, you know, tone is missing entirely. But yes, they have another allegation against them. I'm being... Is it really what? Ah, okay. Okay, so, there were... You know how there are VTuber companies, right? And, like, you've got, like, Hololive, for example. Niji was, like, the other one. Niji Sanji was the second biggest. They still kind of are, but they were a lot bigger than they are now. Basically, Niji Sanji, who were owned by Any Color, which is where the jokes about there could be any color but just be a black company come from. Basically, they turned out to be a really fucked up place to work, and a lot of people started leaving as soon as they could. Like, they basically don't support you. You lose a lot of money, and eventually, the thing that sort of broke the camel's back, after a lot of people already left, well, not like, there's like a good number of people have left, basically, and done way better as indies. But basically, you know how Doki Bird's a pretty big indie VTuber, right? You've probably seen something about Doki Bird around, right? Well, once upon a time, she was known as Selene Tatsuki, and she was one of Niji's biggest people. However, she made a song, Last Cup of Coffee. It's a good song. She put a lot of work into it. Fair enough. Fair enough. Hololive's a good one, although there's been some shit around Hololive recently. I don't know the finer details, but a lot of people have been leaving recently in a big wave, which is odd. That doesn't really happen to Hollow. So hopefully they haven't screwed anything up. Although they're going back to China, which I don't quite understand, because the Chinese audience hate Hololive. But there you go. But anyway, Niji essentially wasn't supporting their VTubers, basically, there was no reason to join them beyond the Niji Sanji audience, because they wouldn't cover any costs. They wouldn't help you with taxes either, so at least two former VTubers of theirs have turned around and said, in their former employment, obviously vaguely, because Niji's the kind of company where you sign NDAs, and if you even badmouth them once, they'll try and sue you, because in Japan, slander is considered basically, do you upset the company, not are you being honest, which is fucked up, but there you go. Niji essentially made two VTubers essentially very nearly get in trouble with, like, tax stuff because of them being hitters. And just in general, they just did not... There was just... The cuts for stuff was so bad with Niji. The contract is, like, draconian as fuck. And obviously, you don't own your rights, which is quite common with VTuber agencies. I don't agree with it, personally. But it's a way they can hold it over you to stop you from leaving. Problem is that they pushed poor Selene at the time to to try and kill herself. She tried to kill herself, genuinely. Twice. And that was partly because of the stress of what they were doing to her. And eventually they publicly terminated her without even telling her, by the way. Also, like, imagine your employer telling the whole world, hey, we've terminated you, and making up a load of bullshit about you. But to her credit, she bounced back and became Doki Bird again. That's like her old account, basically. And Doki is now one of the biggest indies, and she's doing amazing now. Which is incredible, frankly. Matara Khan and quite a few others were former Niji Sanji as well. V Shoujo picked up a lot of former Niji talent, by the way. Matara, Kiro, and Michi were all former Niji. Like, they can't talk about it, but we all know. We all know. And it's like, holy fuck. It's so bad, that. It's so fucking bad. Mint, by the way, Mint used to be Niji. She used to be Pomo. You may have heard of her. She was quite big. One of the originals from the English branch, but again, Niji screwed her over big. But basically, the latest scandal, apparently, is Niji has decided. Well, basically, some of their tubers have been involved in, like, what's the names? And Silvale are the only ones I really watch. I just know the huge ones. Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, as I say, the most recent thing with Niji is at least one of their livers, one of their VTubers, not too long ago was accused of sexual harassment, and now another one is being accused of sexual harassment. Niji is allegedly looking into it. However, they're also looking into the whistleblower, because that whistleblower broke NDA. However, at least in the West, and in America, for example, and I believe the same is here in the UK, an NDA does not protect a company against someone reporting illegal activity. I don't know about a Japanese NDA because their laws seem genuinely draconian to me. For all the good about Japan, sometimes I think their laws are fucked up. Nintendo, for example, has gotten away with suing Palworld on a patent that had been filed long after Palworld existed. That didn't exist before. Oh yeah, I do not like Nintendo nowadays. I would love to like them, but I can't. Like, I could never pick up a Switch and get into Nintendo stuff anymore. One, I didn't like them after the shit they used to pull, because back in the day, Nintendo used to, like, copyright strike everyone who even covered their stuff. Nowadays, yeah, just like the whole Palworld thing, that just pissed me off. That's all that. If you've watched Pirate Software, he's a good person to watch this kind of stuff. He covered it very well, but basically, Nintendo sued someone for a patent they filed after the other company did it. And because of that, they could then bully them through the Japanese court system. Because Japanese courts seemingly seem to bend over backwards for corporations. It seems to be a common thing. Yeah, and it's like... But they're doing it like... They're suing people post-patent creation, which is insane to me. Like, you can't sue someone for a patent you didn't even do before. Hell, the thing they're suing Palworld for, by the way... Palworld did it before them. Specifically, if I'm not mistaken. That 3D environment whole thing with, like, throwing the balls to summon shit. Palworld did that. I think they're doing that. Exactly. Exactly, they're making a legal loophole that they can then use as a precedent. it's so dumb, but they're doing that. That is the Nintendo way now, which I think is fucked up. But until the Japanese court system stops bending over for these corporations, they'll keep doing it. It's not just a Japan thing, to be fair. A lot of places bend over backwards for corporations. I mean, Korea bend over backwards for, like, Samsung and LG all the time, so... America's got a bit of it, but at the very least in America, you can also call out the companies who are doing it, because they aren't as greasing the gears as much as in some other countries. Like, Microsoft's... Like, Google recently got found to be a monopoly. If anyone has the balls, Microsoft should be next on the plate, followed by Amazon, followed by... I don't know, take your pick. You know. I'm surprised, honestly, they got Google on being a monopoly, to be honest with you. Genuinely surprised at that. But, yeah. Yeah, Niji's a pretty bad company as well, and they take advantage of many Japanese laws to get away with shit. Even though a lot of the stuff they do, if taken to court in America, wouldn't fly. Their contracts just wouldn't fly in America. At all. Oh, yeah. Like, I know it's a bit risque me saying this on one of their platforms, but we all know they're a fucking monopoly. The problem is, Amazon has become too convenient. You think about it. You want to buy something. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? Amazon. And COVID was a blessing for them, because so many shops put down. Exactly, that's the problem. They're so convenient. It's the thing with, like Google as well. Here's the thing. What browser are a lot of people using? Probably Google. Now, in a lot of cases, that's because it's the default browser. And people have just gotten used to it. Ironically, Internet Explorer, once upon a time, was in that same position. Microsoft was a lot worse than now, and they're pretty bad now, but they were a lot more monopolist back then. They very much engage. I mean, they probably do engage in some anti-competitive stuff now, but they really did back then. Google are just following suit. So, that's the thing. The problem is, obviously, is everyone else sort of didn't catch up. Like, love him or hate him, you have, like, when it comes to the likes of Bezos, the founders of Google, Zuckerberg, you know, all these people, what did they do? They saw an idea, made it a thing, no one else has done it before, and the way the market works is if no one's done it before, that's a risky investment, but if you pull it off, it's worth billions. But you gotta pull it off. Then after that, it's just how many times can you recreate it and make money from it? And they pulled it off. So, you know, you've got these massive companies now that took a huge risk. Like, Google could have just failed. Just imagine that for a second. How many businesses fail in the first year? The first 5 years? Microsoft, Amazon, Google, they could have all failed. Each and every one of them could have completely failed. But they didn't. They got very lucky. People liked the product, took off. Their competitors either caught up or died off. And here we are. And obviously they're very convenient now. Like, Amazon is hyper convenient now. I'll be honest, as much as I complain about it, I still use it because what's my alternative, really? There isn't any. Which, in a way, is a problem. In the way, it is a problem. Because they're too powerful. But it's like, how do you actually get around that? You almost have to bend the law, or bend the rules that everyone's playing by to deal with them. But then, You have to be careful with that. It's a fine balance, right, between how do you break up that monopoly in a way that doesn't cause normal people to be completely disrupted. Because you're punishing the business for deliberately becoming too powerful. Because there are reasons we don't allow monopolies. You look in history, the oil barons of old, you know, evil fuckers. There's a reason anti-monopoly laws exist. Like, play a game of Monopoly, right? You play a game of Monopoly. It sounds stupid, but do it. And see how strong of a game you have when you own everything. There's of convenience, but 10 out of 10 times I'll always go for Android because of the price. Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, you could argue Apple has a monopoly in their own stuff, but would you necessarily call it a monopoly if it's a store they made on their platform? Yeah, as you say, Android, part of, Google does lots of stuff with Android. And Android itself is open source, so everyone can make their own proprietary version of. I mean, Chromium. That's the thing, right? Chromium. For those of you who are not so technically minded, most Google Chrome is built off a thing called Chromium. It's essentially where it gets all of its code from. I've really dumbed that down, by the way. That's not exactly how it works, but I'm doing this for anyone who's a bit less technically minded listening to this. Chromium is used by most browsers, by the way. Edge, Firefox, I believe, uses it. So many others. I believe Brave uses it. A few others use it, right? Most use it because it's really good and convenient. Exactly. It's convenient. Once again, convenience. When you create something that is convenient, you have created something everyone wants. That is how you become very rich, by the way. Very powerful. Here's the thing. Here's how rich Google is. Google's so rich that they make up a percentage of the earnings of Apple and Firefox. I believe 20% of Firefox's earnings are from Google, and 17%, roughly, is from Google for Apple, sorry. That's the other thing. Google essentially pay off their competitors so that they can become the default browser, but they're paying their competitors for that space. So you can turn around and say it's monopolious, but also they're helping keep their competitors afloat. And it's like, well, shit. What happens now if they're not? Could that cause a collapse of their competitors because they're getting a huge cut in their money, then the investors freak out? Because anything publicly funded, you're hugely at risk from investors freaking out. That's another thing. Publicly funded anything, the more I see it, the more I genuinely think I would never, if I owned a company, I would never go publicly funded. Because I would never want to risk my business to a bunch of fucking old heads who will freak out over the slightest injunction. It's sort of the downfall, I think, of a lot of companies that have gone public. I do think this. Like, if you ever notice the quality of a company drop after they go public, I genuinely think that's connected. Like, what the consumer gets will always be worse because the consumers no longer what they care about. It's like half the problem with these companies. You get like, I mean, Hollow is publicly funded now, I believe. So they're on the stock market, basically. And a lot of people think that might be why some people are leaving. Put it that way. Investors doing shit. Because investors have power of your company, because they own part of it. If they turn around and say, hey, X part of your company, like, oh, you're giving too much money to this part of your company, can you not? And if enough of them ask for it, then there you go. Follow the vote, and if everyone wants it, then less money goes to that part of the company. And then obviously if all of them's like a big minority shareholder or a majority shareholder, they may gain some significant power over the company. I mean, look at Twitter. That's how Elon gained Twitter. He just kept buying Twitter. And essentially he was able to strong-arm Twitter's board by the fact that he went, hey, I'm willing to buy you out, and that'll give you more money than you're going to make. They had to give him that because it's their the investors, not the consumer, was their responsibility. Hence how Elon could buy out Twitter, because he had the money at hand, and as far as the investors were concerned, shit, this is our best offer. Do it. So the board had to bend over backwards and do it for them. Simple as that. You know, that's the other half of these companies, you know. You got the convenience, but you've also got who it actually benefits sometimes. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that every publicly funded company is a shit experience for the consumer. Again, Amazon manages to fit this weird fine line where they can produce useful stuff, or just be useful in general, and still be publicly funded. So you can have both. But if you make a product, then quite often it'll get worse, or change in some way, or, you know, just something will happen. You know, when you try and extend to the wider market, continually please these guys. Games Workshop's a good example of this. I genuinely believe they've diluted the Warhammer universe because they want a wider audience. And don't get me wrong, they're pretty big. This year, I believe Games Workshop did better than Greg's. Let me just stress this. For those of you not in the UK, Greg's, they're everywhere. They're a very convenient food shop where you can buy like sausage rolls or sandwiches or drinks. Very fucking cheap. Like, I'll be very blunt. If I gave you a £20 note and sent you into a Greg's, you might not be able to spend all of it before you're full. I'm being genuine here. It's that good. The prices are. And the food ain't even that bad. Right? Games Workshop's bigger than them. And Greg's is the kind of thing that's affordable to everyone. Even the poor is poor in this country. If you have enough to be able to afford a sandwich, you can afford a Greg's. Especially with their app they've got now and the various deals they've got now. And Games Workshop, a luxury company, sells plastic miniatures at a fucking absorbent price for the plastic, by the way. I'm not going to sit here and try and pretend like it isn't overpriced as fuck, because it is. The price of plastic has not gone up that much. I assure you, it has not gone up that much. But G-Dubs make their money. Oh boy. They make their money. But yeah. They're an example of like what public funding can do. Now, this still makes good minis, I'd say, but it says a lot when you look at current G-Dubs. And you look at, like, for example, Trench Crusade. Trench Crusade is the most grimdark miniature game I've seen in a while. And it's like old Warhammer. It's not a little darker, in some respects, aesthetically anyway. It's a very cool aesthetic, like a World War I era aesthetic, with fantastical elements. Like alternate history kind of shit. It's pretty fucking cool. The stuff in it looks really cool. But, holy fuck. 40k, which should be about as dark, if not darker, in some respects, because Trench Crusade at least has some examples where humanity still exists, as far as, like, being a decent human being. 40k is a lot less examples of that. Like, I'll give you a comparison. One of the factions in Trench Crusade, New Antioch, their troops are all volunteers. In 40k, the billions of guardsmen sent to their death are not volunteers. They are tithes that planets are forced to give to the wider empire, or face severe punishment. So, needless to say, just that example there. Also the fact that 40k, it's weird. The aesthetics of Trench Crusade look darker, but 40k as its content is darker. Because Trench Crusade doesn't have mad Inquisitors annihilating entire planets on a whim sometimes. Obviously there's context to it, but still. You know, entire planets of people being destroyed. And the equivalent would be like a city being destroyed, and they don't do that. So. But, you know, whether Trench Crusade, if it was to get big, would stay as dark, I don't know. I'd like to hope it would, but then it probably wouldn't get as mainstream, but then I think it's okay for things not to be too mainstream. I don't know. I think not everything has to appeal to everyone, right? Like, I perfectly accept I don't appeal to everybody. Myself, my content, me. I don't appeal to everybody. Clearly it's because of their taste. But in all seriousness, I'm quite aware. I'm a weird anomaly. I'm a weird niche. And that's okay. Because that means I get to gather you lot around to be part of my weird niche. And that's okay. Besides, there's not that many VTubers that play Total War religiously like I do, so, you know, there's that. But you'll notice, I mean, content creators. Quite a lot of content creators got big doing one thing, and then they kind of exploded out to be a generalist. It's a lesson I've had to learn myself. I tried to be very generalist because I was scared of being sort of nailed down. Now, I tend to stick to a lot of Total War. I might expand a little bit into some TTRPG stuff, and some extra stuff here and there, but my bread and butter was my Total War streams. It's like most things I do. Obviously I have this stream, which is never going to change because I like these streams. But again, like that. So people go from being very specific to being very general. In that wider appeal. And it's not a bad thing. You know, you might, unless you really like them for that particular thing they did. Like I say, you can have your cake and eat it too, but it depends on what it is, what the cake is, you know? It all depends on what the content of that cake is. I realise I've rambled on about just going from various shit, so I apologise if I've been difficult to follow here, but hopefully get the point I'm saying, sort of. If you don't, me neither. Welcome to my streams. Yeah, no. I feel like I've lost track of how we got to this point, but if I had £1 for every time that happened, I'd be reasonably rich. So, nothing's changed there then. On a complete side note, it is getting very near to that holiday period. Very near indeed. So, I've lost train of thought then. But yeah, it's getting very near to the holiday period, and, you know, it's a strange one to be here again. A year ago, I was in a very different spot. Hell, a year ago, I was but a PNG tuber. It's a very strange feeling to go from my PNG of me to being a VTuber. It's a very strange feeling. Ironically, I play a lot of Total War now, but before I played a fuck ton of Monster Hunter. I've ranted about this before, but it's weird thinking about it. If there's PNG tubers, where there's JPEG tube. Well, if you have a JPEG, my friend, you have to have a background. Trust me, I've had to manually remove backgrounds from my prior PNG self. That was a whole thing. I didn't know where to go to find someone to like a proper like PNG tuber of me, so that was a whole thing. Also, ironically enough, I think I paid more for that PNG tuber art than I did for my original VTuber, which I thought that was just the person I went to really undervaluing themselves, to be honest. But still. Anyways, I'm gonna go dip and play some Siege. No worries, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for putting up with my ranting. Have a good Siege game. Don't get too outpaced by the youngins. All their copious amounts of what I can only guess to be probably Adderall. Our ranting. Yes. Yes, our ranting. Comrade. Insert Soviet anthem here. That reminds me, I think I actually stumbled upon a Soviet Womble video for the first time in like ages. Like I haven't watched that guy in like an age and a half. It's weird. Fucking algorithm just like, hey, you haven't watched this person in like an eternity. Would you like to watch them now? Like, yeah, okay. Why not? But yes, it's just getting to that Christmas period, so wrap up warm unless you're in the southern hemisphere. In that case, don't wrap up warm, because Australia or / New Zealand, weird weather. But unless you're down under, then wrap up warm. Do try to enjoy the holiday period if you can. I know myself, it often is quite a lonely period of time for me, but this time I'm not quite as alone, which is nice. At least of you guys. And hopefully, I'm keeping you company. And if those of you who are, I haven't got as many people around in this cold point in time. Hopefully, anyway. Yes, do make sure to reach out to people, friends, family, anything like that. Because I think they'd appreciate it, genuinely. I think they would. Unless they're complete dicks, I guess, then they might not. But, I mean, most people would appreciate a little call. I know I need to follow my own advice on that one better. But, yes, definitely don't forget about your peeps, your family. Especially this time of year. But, you know, on a more positive note, do enjoy your Christmas. Grab a drink, don't worry about that extra chocolate. Don't get too crazy, obviously, but just have it. The one's not going to kill you, and you can always work it off in the new year. Or tell yourself you're going to work it off the new year, and then don't. Like everyone else. You know I'm right. You know damn right. Well, I'm right on that one as well. God. Now, of course, I feel like now's a good time to mention. As you may have seen in the schedule, this week is a bit shorter. And that is because I want to make sure I have a bit more time to rest. Because these last few months have been very hectic for me. And I don't want to burn myself out. It's just a day. It's just a Sunday. Single Sunday where I get time to rest up. Recuperate myself a little, because I definitely need it. I need a bit of time off that isn't just me being in hospital, because that sucked. Though of course that hasn't worked out so well today, has it? But still, the rest of the holiday is still here. I believe, let me see, We've got some Total War, of course, a bit more Skull Taker, and of course, you guys will have a bit more say in the next two campaigns. I want to sort of include you guys a bit more in that, so I think it will make it more enjoyable, more fun viewer experience. I hope. So, hopefully you'll enjoy that. I'll go into a bit more detail closer to the time, but if you're in Discord, you have a bit of early knowledge on this. Yes, I'm only mildly hinting that being in the Discord gives you a little bit more knowledge sooner. Not a requirement though. Totally optional. Means you might see me around. And I'm occasionally playing Total War or just yapping. Because yes, sometimes I do come into the server. It's not that big where I get put off by the big crowds yet, which is good. One day it may eventually get to the point where it's so large that it may be a bit awkward for me to just jump into a VC, but hey, if it happens, it happens. I'll figure out a good way of doing stuff. You know? Also, apologies if my model goes stiff occasionally. It's because I keep, like, rubbing my nose. Give an itch. And of course, makes the model do funny shit. I found like a good way of like doing it without like causing model issues. Because obviously, if it can't see most of my face, then it starts like just freezing up. So the joys of the tuba model. But it's like the only downside, to be honest. It's the only one. Yes, we will be continuing Skull Taker for the next two at least, and I'll see how I feel, because as much as I'm enjoying the Khorne campaign, I realise it's hitting that special moment where, like, we're kind of somewhat invincible. And I need to find a good challenge. I mean, maybe Khorne is just the kind of faction I need to have on very hard. The Arbold campaign, I intend to be on Legendary. Because, frankly, Arbold is powerful as fuck, and really, I can see that being an interesting campaign if done right. It could be very boring, which is why I'm doing it on Legendary. Bit of a challenge campaign, because I think that'd be fun. Plus, Legendary makes things a bit harder, so that should mix things up a little bit. I've never played the Legendary campaign as well, so this will be a bit of learning for me. This will be a bit of learning for me. And if that works out, we may try other Legendary campaigns that have interest. I will say, I'm really liking the new Ogres, especially how they fixed the glitch with the splash damage. Ogres they're good. They were good before, in my opinion. But now, now they're really good. I guess I experienced a little bit of splash damage with one fight I think I must have had versus Azazel, but they fixed that now, so hopefully next time I have that issue, I just crush them. Yeah, lead belchers though? Oh. The fact Goldfag starts with lead belchers. Oh, that's good. The lead belchers are tantalizing units. I mean, there's just something really fun about a unit of ogres carrying around cannons. Literal fucking cannons. Like the kind of things you'd have like mounted and firing like in Napoleonic era, but it's in their hands. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. They're in a little subculture. Right, I got sound now. My word, he's now got sound. What was actually up, by the way? Were you just using it on phone and there were some issues there, or was it just you had no headset? Oh, I'm curious. I'm curious now. Did Twitch punish you for your Slovenian loophole? For anyone wondering, I'm saying that because he doesn't get ads somehow. I'll play my guitar. Ah, okay. I see. So it wasn't that you were. So it was more that you just had too much. Ah, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. You were serenading yourself or someone with some tunes. Playing Hearts of Iron 4 friends. Nice, nice. And playing D&D campaigns. I know Hearts of Iron's a kind of game you can kind of just, like, almost leave on automate for a lot of the time, unless you're doing a big war, but you're doing D&D and that while watching Twitch. Artemis, I think you might be cooked. Deeply fried, perhaps. Your Zoomer brain requires 3 sets of input. You require 3 sources of input directly into your brainstem. Methinks the only way you're going to be able to survive soon is with a neurochip. We'll have to call Big Elon over, tell him we gotta volunteer. And we can plug even more inputs into you. Man's gonna be watching all the fucking streams at this rate. He's gonna be able to watch Twitch, do D&D, Art of Iron 4, play guitar, scroll Twitter and TikTok all at the same time. He grappled 3 enemies and did... I'm sorry, what? 120 D4 damage to each of them? The fuck? That's a lot of damage. Even in D4s, there's a lot of damage. I have 5 levels in Gloomstalker Ranger. Ah, I see. Yeah, I can cast Griff. I did do a bit of Gloomstalker once. I kind of set up my builds to be very... First round I blitz. Then I have the rest in Astral Arms Monk. Holy shit. Wait, how many levels are you currently? What's your total character level? I'm curious now. What's that total level looking like? Because you've got 5 in that. 14, so... Holy shit. I guess 5th level's only wasted level, technically, and even then, just look at the spell levels, I think. Jesus. Still, that's kind of wacky. That's kind of whack, that is. Ain't gonna lie. You know what, though? You know what, on retrospect, no, it actually works. Wisdom and Dex are the ones you want anyway, so it benefits them both. So actually, no, that's actually kind of smart. It's a combo I'd have never have thought of myself, but a Ranger Monk is interesting. I also 65 foot of the base movement, then I double that into flying speed with magic. I have... Holy shit, man. Your poor DM. Your poor DM. Then again, your DM allowed this, so I mean, it's their own fault at that point, but holy shit. That's some movement. Are you also playing a Tabaxi? I bet you do grind them into dust with that kind of fucking build. I have to ask, are you... else this is purely by the books. I mean, no, I believe you. I believe it's pure by books. Yeah, nothing you've described to me is outside the realm of books. I'm playing a 2024 Goliath. Interesting. I guess, oh yeah, you can... Astral Monk's from Tasha's, so it translates straight over. So that's not an issue. And then you can still use the Ranger. Okay, I've not... How is the new D&D? I've honestly not played it. I've still been playing 2014 D&D when I've been playing it at all. Definitely base movement at level 5 intelligence speed. Holy shit. Very, very broken, yeah. Holy fuck, man. I can make an ally's turn. Bruh. Holy. I'm curious how new D&D is, because new D&D, I've not played it. I'm aware of it, but I've not played any of it. Like, I've played a lot of old D&D. The outfit sucks. But it's fun. Okay, that's good. Shame it sucks, though. Did they ever decide what they were doing with the Warlock? Because it feels like they've changed it like a dozen times in development. They just couldn't seemingly decide on it. Oh, looked into it, yeah. Fair enough, fair enough. I was curious because they kept changing it. They made it like a half caster, but like it didn't really do anything in the other half. Open to the this grappler build. I see. And it's 2.5k damage. What the fuck? I was gonna say, yeah. God, a bard's doing that much damage. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I must admit the only TTRPG stuff I've been looking at the minute is Dark Heresy 2nd Edition for my upcoming campaign. Pathfinder. Yeah, we're doing a bit of Pathfinder this Sunday. And then I think we've got a little one-shot my DM is planning as well for something else. Like a Stormlight Archives TTRPG. But yeah, said DM is a player in my Dark Heresy campaign I've got coming up. It's going to be a little bit because I want to stream it, so it needs a bit more prep. Plus, it's Dark Heresy. It kind of needs a little more prep to do it justice. Because Dark Heresy encourages a very investigative kind of campaign, but it has plenty of room for combat. Plenty of mechanics for combat. It's just combat is kind of terrifying. Because even at higher levels, the things you're fighting can still fuck you up pretty bad. Like, you can't... I don't think there's no easy way to up your wound count, which is your health. And then once you lose all your wounds, it's then like, okay, we then get into critical damage, which is when they start losing limbs. Or just die, painfully. Depending on how they got hit. So... But I've got a bit of a plan working on. I was going to do more work on it today, but then my trip to the hospital ended up being quite extended. Because they take forever sometimes, is the abridged version of it. But yes. But we have the rest of this holiday and a while yet. Like, I'm thinking I'm going to have everything ready by February is the plan. I'm going to give myself like a soft date to have everything prepared for. Sort of encourage myself a bit. Let me have a little look, actually. Open the calendar. Let's say... Oh. Let's say... Ooh. February 8th. There's a soft date I want everything ready for. Yeah, we'll go with that. February 8th is my penciled in date I want to have it ready for. And then I want to do a session 0. And then it'll probably be March time when I do my first session live. That'll probably be on a Saturday. I may start a little earlier than usual, so give us more time, because I appreciate some of my players probably don't want to be up at 11. Potentially. That's fine. Although, my current plan for that is a bit of a mix of, like, do the session. If we're waiting for people, do a bit of a yap first, then session. And then after the session, there's like a little post bit where we can talk. And then if you guys have any questions for myself or my players, you can ask them there. Or we can just yap, you know. And whoever then wants to stay around for a little bit can do so. And then a post-campaign discussion, or post-session discussion. And then I'm going to make some videos about that session, for those who couldn't make it, or, you know, that kind of thing. So, that's my running plan for that. Yeah, that's my plan. I've mentioned this a few times, but that's the plan I've got in my head at the moment. I'm gonna see if I can't throw together a nice little overlay for it as well, myself. If I can't, then I know who I can turn to. The same lovely people who commissioned did for this one, behind me. So I've got options. If worse comes to it, if I fail to do it myself, I can always commission them. Running a campaign for viewers. Never say never. Never say never. I guess it would depend on what it would be. I mean, D&D 5e I'm very experienced with. I've done it a million times. I mean, I'd be happy to run Dark Heresy. When I've got a bit more knowledge on it, I'd be happy to run Lancer, to be honest. I love Lancer. That's a fun mech RPG, that is. Very fun mech RPG. Run a level 21 shot. Oh my god. I mean, I could. That would be actual disease-worthy, though. That would, like... I feel like I'd need a few drinks, and it'd be wacky. Most powerful build, oh god. I feel like I need to have a few drinks for that one. Genuinely. I'm not kidding when I'd say I would probably be tempted to bring a fucking mini fridge worth of drinks on hand for myself. As I slowly just laugh myself through that one. It'd be funny, but god, it'd be just painful to plan for. Because the kind of shit you fuckers can do at that level is insane. Like, even like in good old 5e, it's like, okay, what can you do, wizard? I can stop time. Right. I can make a demi-plane. Right. You literally cast Wish. I might unironically, like, have to not allow Wish just to keep things within a reasonable bounds for level 20. But then, at the same time, maybe I might allow it, like, right at the end. Here's your Wish, spell fucker, go for it. Or I play Wish very strict to the rules, I don't know. I'll cast Simulacrum then. I mean, that's the thing, you don't even need Wish. Wish is just overkill. You do not need Wish. Your ass can cast Simulacrum. You can cast Clone. You literally can cheat death as a wizard. You can just clone your body, put it in a fucking flask, and when you die you crawl out of it and get your fucking spare tats you've got, because you've got 20 cloaks. And you're rich as fuck. What's that? You're, that barbarian that can't die? Yep, that's just the whole thing. The Zealot Barbarian, that's it, yes, the Zealot Barbarian. Now, admittedly, there are a few... Unless you're playing an elf, there's one way of getting around that. Sleep. Oh yeah, Tome Warrior essentially can't die either. You know. Or, you know, you're a level 20 paladin. Hey, I'm going to use my Ultra form now. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? But I can make a build that'll make it can't die. I mean, I'm sure you know of plenty of ways of doing that. I feel like I'll get a mix of, like, really creative builds and really painful builds. And I'll simply have to drink away the pain. Drink responsibly, kids. Drink responsibly. The grappler build at level 20 is insane. I mean, yeah. Yeah. No, it's okay. My DM slash player, Onyx, would respect that. Yeah, he'd respect that a lot. Unless he was DMing it, then he wouldn't respect it, probably. He'd probably cry. But it's okay, because it'd be me anyway, so... But yeah, no, I don't see why not at some point. I could always throw together a quirky little level 21 shot. One of these days. Maybe we'll do it next anniversary. Who knows? Remind me on, like, August or something. Or June, July. Remind me on then, and I'll probably throw something together for the next time, like my actual like channel anniversary. We can do it then, or something. But assuming I'll remember, then why not? It sounds funny. We just need to get the numbers for it. But, you know, I would need three players. Of course, if Rouge wants to join, he can join too. That's fine. Grab people from my community. I volunteer. I know you volunteer. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. You'll be included. I wouldn't not. You literally gave me the idea. It'd be a bit rude of me not to include you, wouldn't it? So, don't you worry. You'll be in it. You'll be in it. If we do it, you'll be in it. Don't worry. I might stop streaming myself by that. Hey, you might. Oh shit, it could be like a little collab. It's okay. Just got my PNG avatar made. Oh, nice, nice. It's very good. Yeah, don't worry about getting a full model. PNG's enough, trust me. And how to add the just trying to figure out how to add the avatar. What kind of PNG is it? Like, is it just like a picture, or is it like a animated kind of image? Just open, close mouth. Oh, one sec. Hang on, I could show you how. It's actually quite easy. One moment. Where is it? Reactive images, I think it's called, isn't it? One second. Try this. Try that. That's what I used to use for mine, and I use it for my little collab cam. So if I have people in my people I'm collabing with, they'll pop on the bottom. There is ways like VTubers do it with the models and stuff, but that's the easiest way to do it for other people. Reactive image, just it's quite simple to use. I do recommend it. Yeah, it's really easy. The only thing you have to do is be in a Discord call. That's it. Just like make a server with just yourself in it. There you go, done. I have a little recording studio bit in my server, which you lot can't see normally. And that's what I used to use back when I used it. Before I transferred to my little blob model. Little blob. Very cheap little model he was. It was a good little model. Before I had my custom one. I mostly got him so I was used to live 2D. And what shenanigans I'd have to deal with while having live 2D. And then I think I upgraded my device before I had this one. Because I knew this one would be a beastly model. Because it was higher quality. But PNG, you shouldn't have to worry about any of like the performance hits with PNG as well, which is good. Whereas me as a tuber, as a VTuber, I have this model which uses CPU power, so I have to be mindful of what settings I'm using, whereas you shouldn't have to worry about that. The only extra stress your system will have is streaming, which depends on if you're using OBS or Slobs. Slobs does use more, but it's a bit more convenient. OBS is way more customizable. So, 'tis your choice. But if you like OBS, use it. Absolutely use it. I use Slobs for some convenient stuff it gives me. Plus it has multi-stream as a thing. You gotta pay for it annoyingly, but that's a thing you can use. There are some other ones that are similar to both, knocking around, but OBS with Stream Elements plugin should do the trick. You can use Streamlabs alerts as well, but Stream Elements is probably the better one if you're using OBS. If you're using Streamlabs, you might as well use Streamlabs. But if you're worried about performance, OBS is the better choice. You just gotta like do a little bit of figuring out. It's more manual, but it's like anything that's more manual. It's more usable, like for customization. You got a bit more options. Like you've got a lot of options with Streamlabs. Don't get me wrong. Most things that work for OBS work for it, but it does use a lot of resource in comparison. And again, I mostly use it because again, multi-stream, which I have to pay for, but I use that. But also, it has the option to tweet, like before I stream, which I always forgot to do when I was using OBS. But you can transfer your settings between the two. I just have Streamlabs. Oh, okay, that's fine, man. That Streamlabs works. You can transfer your settings between the two as well if you do decide to switch. You can just like copy all your settings and move them to OBS or vice versa. And it always fucks up my window management. Ah, okay. Oh, I mean, I missed it. I always have mine on my second screen, but it depends how you do it, right? Like, because I have no idea how to configure that. I'm trying to think how you would have done that. I mean, for me, I just put it on my second screen, which is why you see me look up occasionally, because my second screen's kind of like above it. But as I say, if you find it's a bit too resource intensive, OBS is the better choice. But if you like the sort of features Streamlabs has, then definitely I can give you a few pointers. I mean, for me, I didn't get it. It is a bit harder to get used to. Like, there's definitely a lot of guides around on YouTube how to set this sort of stuff up. And I mean, hey, if worse comes to it, you're really struggling, give me a shout if I'm free. You know, I can always do that. But hello, Vinyl. How you doing, buddy? But you can always give me a shout if you're stuck. Like, I mean, I don't mind showing someone how to set this sort of thing up. I'm doing fine, just chilling in. Oh, good. Just, I mean, chilling myself a bit after being stuck in a hospital for half a day. So, you know, it's good times. Didn't figure out how to set up sound, honestly. The sound is a funny one. It's a funny one. Oh, it's just a checkup in this case. It's not like last time I was in hospital where I was horrifically ill with pneumonia. No, this is the checkup for my pneumonia to make sure it's gone and to make sure I'm good. And so far, I'm good. It just turns out I'm allergic as fuck to grass and dust, or dust mites in particular. But I was stuck there for a while doing like bloods and shit, and then stuck in the A&E because my dad wanted to get seen for his eye, and that took ages. So fun times. Yeah, that's the short abridged version of it, buddy. But yeah. Oh yeah, like I have to take this year in particular is bad. I had to have a nasal spray, and I had to have 120 milligram tablets. They've given me something now, which is like the best way I can describe it is like you've got your antihistamines, which target the histamines you create when you have something that makes you have an allergy. I have something that takes place after the fact. It affects a different chemical that also affects allergies. So this is like a fancy hay fever tablet, basically, that I take nightly, or like eveningly. It might affect my mood, apparently, but that's only the downside they've mentioned. But who knows? But yeah, no. good old hospital admin. But no, thankfully, nothing bad. At least I'm fine, family's fine, so real good. But I was there a while. It sucked. But yeah, I would say Optimus as far as the sound stuff. It's a funny one. Still experimenting here and there with it. At the moment, I have desktop audio on to like allow for alerts.
Skill issue.
It is. I mean, somewhat. Yeah. I'll be honest. It really is. What I'd say with streaming or content creation, it really is a lot of learning of how shit works. Once you've got past that stage, then it's just refining. Like, here's the thing. Just to put this in perspective, don't forget I've been doing this for over a year now. I'm a little more versed in the ways of doing it and the scuff. So you're gonna go through a period of scuff. I'm gonna be honest with you, buddy. You're gonna have streams where it just nothing fucking works. It's gonna happen. And you're gonna have to deal with that. But it's okay, because once you've dealt with it, then... I mean, yeah, it never ends. That is true. You only learn how to deal with it. Like, I'd say my streams are less scuffed than they used to be. But as Vinyl said, it never truly ends, because... especially when you're dealing with live stuff. Like, when you're making videos, you can control it a little better with the power of editing any scuff out. But live shit? Oh boy. Live stuff's interesting. Like, the amount of things that can go wrong? Yeah. Yeah, there's lots that could go wrong. But thankfully, you do start learning ways of managing the scuff. Sound, I mean, as I say, that sound was a one I worked on for a while before I got to a point I was happy with like my audio setup. Like, you can stick with like a Blue Yeti. If you play around with your settings enough, you can genuinely make a Blue Yeti sound nice. But you may find like, in my case, I got like a Shure mic, not the higher end one, but one just below, and it does the job beautifully. Has a little issue now and then, but nothing much. It's a pretty good little mic. That's why I use it. But you know, because I had a whole issue myself where I hated how the mic sounded, and I didn't like the quality. But if you're willing to put a bit of time in, you can make a lot of mics sound pretty good. Just don't use like a headset mic, because it will sound like shit. It will sound like utter shit. And no one will enjoy that, because trust me, one thing I will stress to you, people are more likely to tune out because of audio shit than visual. Like, if my model does something scuff, that's not as big of an issue. But if my audio sounds like utter crap, no one wants to put up with that. Yeah, no worries, man. No problem. Enjoy your lurk. Thank you for being here, Chief. But yeah, so that's something I would say. I guess to anyone interested in doing this kind of thing is, you know, make sure your audio sounds nice. And you will go through that phase where you hate your own voice. Because you just will. You just will. It will happen. You'll hear yourself go, oh god, I sound like that? Like, trust me, I went through like that phase. That was yeah. You just gotta get used to that one. Even a voice changing gonna quite help with that. I know how bad I sound. Nah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Trust me. You'll find a good way of like dealing with that yourself, but also getting your audio set up to the point where it sounds clean. Like, even if you don't like how you sound, as long as it sounds clean, you'll be fine. Genuinely. The thing I find is obviously sometimes my mic is a little too sensitive and it picks up some breathing. That can happen. Which isn't too much of an issue for live, but obviously recorded stuff is a pain in the ass. But it is what it is. A bit of music in the background, we'll sort that. The good thing if using Streamlabs, obviously you've got that royalty-free stuff, which I'm using now, which is quite nice. Gives me a little problem. But I would recommend like creating like a little beat or something, or finding a royalty-free little beat so you can put in the background if you do video stuff. Just something nice and subtle you can have to, fill in any gaps when you're speaking. And don't do what I did and spend like an ungodly amount of time trying to figure out how a bloody green screen works, because holy fuck, I spent way too much time trying to figure that one out. Like, holy shit. You remember that day I was like getting really annoyed about the green screen? Oh, god. When you say figuring out how sound works, in what way? What's about sound in particular that's thrown you off out of curiosity? I'm curious here. What's like... doesn't want to capture sound. Interesting. Game sound and my mic sound. Huh. Do you have them separated? Because that'd be one thing. Are they separated and as their own sounds? They should be, but are they? I have absolutely no idea. So, in Streamlabs, you have your sort of scenes, your sources, and your mixer. I'll tell you what. After stream, if you're still around, I can always have a little look if you want. I might be able to fill you with knowledge, beam my wisdom directly into your skull. I don't have much, but I can always beam a little of wisdom in. It's probably something small we can always fix. But, yeah, and your mixer should have all the different audio sources. And you can always separate out your audio sources. It's a good idea to do. Like the Streamlabs music tab is its own audio source. The desktop audio is its own thing. I probably should split out Discord, honestly, into its own thing. That's something I should do. Finally, to split up Discord. There's probably a way of doing it. But for the life of me, I don't know. Myself, I don't bother. But there's definitely a way of splitting out. I mean, hell, actually. Let me look at my little collab. Because that might actually have it in. There it goes. It's a... what's the source? So, maybe not. Yeah, I split my audio background. So, depending on the source type, you can do that. Really depends on the type, you see. But I think I have to remove the keyboard sound. Now that, my friend, is a little thing called gain, and a little thing called let me see, filters, edit filters, noise suppression as well. Gain and noise suppression are your friends there in that one. Like, you don't really hear my mouse too often. Even if I, like, type on the keyboard, you don't really hear that much. Because again, even though it's a mechanical keyboard, I got that suppression on point. But that'll be your friends. Gain and noise capture, and you gotta just play with that a little bit. Also depends how close your mic is to your keyboard and mouse as well. That can be a factor. How echoey your room is. Trust me, I've done way too much research on this shit. I obsessed over audio for a month. Like, 2 months straight. Trying to fiddle with audio. Like, I think every stream I made minor improvements. Like, the first year is going to be a lot of figuring shit out. I'll be real with you. That really is like your figure shit out and figure out if you even like it kind of thing. Then you go from there, really. But a little trial and error, and you'll get there, man. Listen, if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. Don't you worry. You don't have to be super technical, but you do have to kind of become a bit more technical to be able to fix shit. But that's easy for me because IT is kind of thing I do. But you know, it's one of the things you learn the tricks of the trade as you go, and you'll encounter weird, funny issues that someone else won't have. Yeah, no expression is the thing. Yeah. So that would be your filters. Your filters, are your friend there on that one? Yeah, you're right. You click on that big old cog, and your filters, your friend there. Also, like noise, like you can also do stuff on your mic as well. Like I have a voice recording mic that I use for recording music with my guitar, so it picks up everything. Okay. You might be able to do some stuff on the mic as well to possibly get it to filter stuff better. But software-wise, you can do stuff with Streamlabs too. Like I say, it's a lot of experimenting. Depends on the acoustics of your room as well. You know, how does sound bounce? You might need some of them little black spongy things like absorb sound a bit. Hell, some people used to record under like a blanket in their fucking cupboard. You know, literally in the closet to like sort of absorb the noise. Something I used to do a lot actually. I have these blackout curtains, and what I used to do was obviously make sure they were closed because it would help absorb the sound better. There we go. Cobral's tips on audio. My amassed knowledge on money audio things. Oh, excuse me. Not saying I've got mine perfect, but I definitely have improved my audio significantly. But as I say, it really is a lot of trial and error. I know I keep saying that, but it really is. Because, like, your setup's going to be different to mine. Undoubtedly. Like, the way your room's laid out, the way... Oh, it's gonna be. I'll be honest, it's gonna be really annoying. It's kind of the filter. That's the thing. That annoying stage is the filter. A lot of people give up at that stage. You've kind of got to face it up and figure out what the problems are. You can identify the problems. That's good. That's step 1. 2 through 10, however, is the rest of it. How to then fix it is the other part. Like I say, I don't mind having a look. You can always screen share it over Discord or something if you like. I don't mind. Give it a little bit of my time for you to see if we can't eyeball it. So, don't mind doing that for you. Compare it to my own, see if I can figure it out. If I'm in space. Well, like space on your computer or space in the room? Because space in the computer, that's easy to do. Space in the room, well, that depends on your circumstances, don't it? Room, okay. Got you. I mean, It depends a little how you're using the space and what you need to put in the space to stream, I guess. Put my mic on a little part right under the window. Okay. I mean, like I say, there might be some software things we can probably do. That won't cost you a penny. That will probably help that a little bit. Like I say, it's a process. It really is a fucking process. Windows definitely going to bounce sound a bit, but a curtain might help with that. Like a thick blackout curtain in particular, that might help with that. A noise gate might help as well. Noise gates are quite nice. They limit certain types of sound coming in. I'd say your mic also might have options as well. If it's a recording mic, there might be some options to filter stuff. I know the Shure microphone, it's got some settings on it that it uses. There's like software comes with it. No, it's a very old recording mic. Okay, so it doesn't have any software at all. I mean, you might be able to do something in the Windows settings for it then, possibly. Some of them do have that as options. But other than that, I mean, that might help, sure. It depends though. Considering the space situation, if you can get like an arm to attach to your desk, that's a pretty good idea. I do recommend more than not having an arm, because the little boom arms are nice, you can move them around. I actually have a little like spring bit mine attaches to, and the reason for that is if my desk shakes, it will stop the mic from shaking and thus picking up the audio of it shaking. I also have a pop filter on mine. It helps with the percussive sounds, because you may know when you say anything with P in it, the pop sounds fucking horrible. Oh, good. That's I'd argue any kind of pop filter or means to avoid the pop, the percussives, very important, because that will ruin your audio so fast. The other option is just don't talk directly into your mic, but some mics prefer that. What I would say, if you're looking to get a better microphone, just be mindful of how much you're spending and on what. Because you can spend a lot of money for a lot of shit. Yeah, I need that because my native language uses... I see. Fair enough. But yeah, like, for example, I use a Shure microphone. That one, the one I have, has USB and a aux cable, I think it's called. So I can have both. Obviously, you'll use one or the other, but again, you got options there. However, obviously, the aux cable's better. USB is still okay though, but the aux cable means you need something to plug it into, and then from that into the computer itself. You don't need to go that far, and you don't need to buy a fucking Go XLR. It's not required, genuinely. Hell, I've got a Stream Deck, but that's just for my convenience. Again, you don't need one, especially for a PNG. You should be all right. Like, maybe if you do decide down the road to get any kind of tuber model or anything, or want some like quick buttons to control your stream, might be worth it. But for now, don't bother. That's one day. Oh yeah, no, stick to a PNG for now. Genuinely, until you feel like, honestly, you could just stay on forever if you really wanted to. There's actually loads of different like ways of doing a PNG tuber. I have a huge button keyboard. Okay. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, you've got the button spare. Should be fine then. So yeah, you don't need a Stream Deck. And also, don't worry about sticking to, you know, the 2 months. Fine. Hey, Nestia, thank you for the raid, by the way. Very kind of you. Let me just snooze the ads real quick. Welcome on in. Having a good day, my friend. How was your stream, by the way? So hello. Oh, Escape Neighbors at Heart. Hello, welcome to the stream, buddy. Welcome on in, Raiders. I'm Baron Darko Brel, your Cyber Angel VTuber, and it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Please get yourself nice and comfortable among my dear sinners. I promise you, they do not bite much, I think. Yes, I've snoozed the ads, don't you worry. But yes, please make yourself nice and comfortable, and do tell me, what were you doing in your stream, by the way? I'm feeling nosy. What were you doing? What were you all doing over there? Ah, then again, I just remembered it's your community night, wasn't it? Yes. I forget now. It wasn't Buckshot Roulette, it's the other one that came out recently. All the animals and the thing as the liar. How did that go? I'm curious. Do you have a definitive pro, or was it some bit of a back and forth? Call me a little curious. Ah yes, Artemis boasting your Slovenian loophole. Well, you somehow don't get ads. I will never understand how the hell you don't get ads. Actual lunacy. Oh, let's crack my neck a little. What was I saying before? I've lost my strength of thought here. Nah. But yeah, I'd say, to sort of loop that around, see how you do with like adjusting levels and shit software wise. If you're really thinking you do mic, then like honestly, the Blue Yeti is old as fuck, but it's fine. It does the job, and some people use that to this day and swear by it. They're pretty cheap too, a Blue Yeti is. I can comfortably say use one. They're pretty, like, you know, they're alright. Yep, it's going alright, buddy. It's going alright. I'm just, you know, yapping about my horrific day being stuck in the hospital for longer than I thought I was going to be, again. But not as long this time, thankfully. And also pointing some suggestions to Artemis about some audio setup stuff. Enjoy your lurk, my friend. Got to get. Yeah, no worries, man. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. It's all good. Oh, but yeah, how was your stream, Yasu? Did you have a good time over there? How did things go? Calling me curious and nosy. Time we are anyway? About 20 to 10. Bro, I'm dying. Hello, Neon. How you doing, buddy? You're dying, I see. Oh, shit. Oh. Why are you dying? I did have a pretty good time. Good, good, good. I forget now, you were playing... It wasn't Buckshot, it was the other one that came out some time, wasn't it? It was like that... The sort of... It's not like Russian roulette. It's like Russian roulette, but also you have to guess who's lying when they put the cards down. Okay, sickness is killing me. I can certainly appreciate that feeling, my friend. I can appreciate that feeling. No, I've been down with the sickness myself not long ago. I'm doing all right myself. I had my checkups and that from the hospital, so I'm all good. I'm all good. Otherwise, enjoying my away time from the day job, which, oh, it do be nice. I had to get up a bit early this morning to get to my appointment, but God, it does feel nice to not have to deal with of a day job for a while. Oh boy, that do feel nice. They do. Oh, excuse me. Yawning a storm up. Let me snooze those ads again. Also, I don't know if I mentioned it before, Neon, but do enjoy your VIP status. I see, I see. Right now I drank some NyQuil, so hopefully it helps me. Or knock me, or knock me. Dare I ask how much NyQuil you've had? That was the internet. Yes, but Pig wasn't feeling well, and no one had signed last week, so. Okay, but it's fair for 14. Okay, nice. I mean, you know, always nice to have an excuse to play some 14. I need to get back into playing a bit more of it, to be honest. I either don't have the time, or I've just been doing other things recently, but I do need to get back into some FF14 myself. I've almost got my Dark Knight level 100. I'm going to try and catch up on all the Alliance raids and normal raids and shit. I need to do all that. I've catched up with the story at least, so I'm up to date on that. I think there's a new Hildebrand thing coming soon, isn't there, as well? So that should be good. Maybe it'll soon hint at the relic. I hear you're playing a bit of catch up yourself, considering I think you in Shadowbringers at this point, if I'm not mistaken. What's this notification? Why is my notification somewhat Beast Games? No, I'm not watching Beast Games Twitch. How dare you? Tisk Twitch. Ask him about Beast Games. Ugh. Right, wait. I reckon M Walker. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, M Walker. It's weird, honestly. I play after getting through Endwalker. I do miss it in many respects. I will say some people bitched about it, but I enjoyed Endwalker. I didn't mind Dawn Trail, but I didn't think it was as good as Endwalker personally. Shadowbringers is still my favourite. It's the one I fucking loved the most. And probably the one I had like the most fun with overall, but I enjoyed Endwalker too. Honestly, it was just interesting to see where it was going after a certain point, because there's a certain point where shit happens, and like, okay, surely can't get any more crazy, and then it gets crazy. Like, holy fuck. But no, I shan't spoil anything, don't you worry. I have no intention of spoiling Endwalker for you. Because Endwalker's a journey that simply you must go through. But Dawn Trail's a fun experience, don't be wrong. I'm not going to downplay Dawn Trail, it was a fun experience. But it definitely picked up on the second half for me, that did. With Endwalker, there was always like a tension. I don't know. I kind of liked how like I was like, okay, when's shit gonna happen? And when it did, oh boy, it fucking prepared you for it, but not nearly enough. God, it was good. It's weird. I feel like I'm gonna miss it in a way. Instead of being the climax that wraps up everything that came before Dawn Trail. Yeah, that's the thing. And Dawn Trail, there's just I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it. There's just I don't feel the same. When it ended, the main ended, I just didn't feel the same sort of feeling I had with Endwalker. But as you say, it's like the modern, even though with like Shadowbringers, I don't know, Shadowbringers felt satisfying at the end. But yeah, Endwalker does just really have it has a fairly satisfying ending, with plenty of room for more. but it does like if that was the end, I'd have been happy. If that was the end of 14 entirely, I'd have been happy with that. It ended perfectly, frankly. Whereas, I don't know. Dawn Trail has some interesting parts, but I definitely feel like they're going to need to build off of it now. Because, as you say, it's now the new Realm Reborn. But at the same time, they need to be able to build on that now, I think. I feel like Dawn Trail ramping up the intensity by the halfway point is actually an improvement over its counterpart. Definitely over Realm Reborn, yes. Yes. Though I think they took a few too many nods from Endwalker. But again, I don't want to say anything too much until you do it, and then you can tell me your thoughts. But I think they've definitely improved on one structure, which I quite like. They don't make you go back to the first two areas halfway through the expansion. That's one thing I do like. You actually get to finish the two areas you start with first before you move on to the rest of the areas, which I like. That is one thing I do like. They don't make you kind of have to return later to do the rest of those areas, which I think is an improvement because I like having an area done before I leave. And it feels weird not to have the area finished, so I'm glad they did it where they did it in Dawn Trail. So that's definitely an improvement. And there's definitely some quality of life improvements they did, which is very good. Yep, exactly. But also, I do like as well the level 100 abilities. They're all really good. They all look really cool so far. What I've seen. Um, Viper, very fun class. Pictomancer, very overpowered class. Very fun. It's overpowered because it hits harder than a Black Mage. Black Mage has to actually be playing hyper optimal to do better than it. But with shitty gear, Pictomancer still hits harder than Black Mage trying without optimal gear on high end content, which is crazy to me. And that was being told by me from someone I know at work who is a Black Mage main, and I know for a fact he knows what he's talking about. He's played Black Mage a lot, so he knows what he's talking about. I am very much a Black Mage rookie. Yes, I leveled it to 90, but at the same time, I don't play it enough to confidently say, yeah, I know Black Mage. I can play it competently, but not properly, if that makes any sense. Pictomancer is really easy, though. I feel like at some point the jobs are just going to have to plateau, like they can't keep escalating infinitely. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? What are they going to do? Like, are we going to end up going to 190? You know? Is that going to be the level? You know, and then what's going to happen then? I guess the thing is, obviously, a lot of it's going to be swapping buttons and what they do and how they look, not adding new ones. Because obviously, they still want it to be used by controllers. I just realized the music has stopped. Oops. Apologies there, folks. There you go. There's some music in the background. That's how quiet it was then. But no, you're right. They definitely. We need a way of. I don't know. I almost wonder, do we need like prestige jobs? Or. I don't know. I don't know how they want to do it. It feels weird thinking about it, but like. I do wonder what their plan is going forward, long term. Because as you say, you can't keep like adding more shit to them. It's really hard to keep track of stuff. Black Mage especially does not need more shit adding to it. That has too many buttons as it is, in my opinion. But that's me a non-black mage main. A black mage main might tell me to shush, it's fine. And maybe I'd appreciate it if I played it more. But I definitely feel like they have a few too many buttons, personally. Other jobs I feel like get a bit more efficient. But maybe that's just me. Also, just a small warning to everybody, in about 50 seconds you will have an ad break, by the way. I cannot snooze this one. I have used all my snoozes. Yeah, I'm hoping they can, like, figure something out with that. But I don't know exactly what they'll do. I think what shit definitely is what WoW didn't. Exactly. They need to optimize a bit. Like, Dark Knight hasn't gained any new buttons as far as I can tell, it's just had changed the old buttons. So hopefully that's just more of that. And not just going crazy with it. But, I mean, who knows, eh? They could just not. I don't know what they're planning to do. Hopefully they know what they're planning to do, because it could be anyone's guess at this point. Just crack my neck a smidge. Ow. This little part of me wants to try WoW, to be honest. But I'm not sure. I'd level a Shadow Priest if I did. But then I don't know if WoW was quite my type of MMO. But then again, I wonder if 14 was my type of MMO until I played it. And then I played it, so I don't know. Like, I played it a while ago, but then I wasn't a big MMO player back then, so don't know if I'd like it better now. I might. It's a very real chance I might. I'm trying to think what else I probably want to. Also, healers. Healers are a funny one to do in 14. They need a few more attack buttons. Just one or two more attack buttons. Because, I don't know, being a healer in 14, it isn't just constantly healing, it's like you gotta mix in combat stuff. And I think a more cleaner way of weaving that not combat with the healing or the damaging abilities might help healing a little bit. Just flow a bit nicer. Also, White Mage is like the only healer that unironically can run out of fucking mana half the time. The other ones just don't. They all have a way of getting mana back, or just not using the damn thing. Meanwhile, White Mage feels a little clunkier in that respect, because it doesn't have that same ease of getting mana back. It's got a few ways. The lilies, obviously, is a whole thing, but White Mage doesn't really have, the same cleanness as, Astrologian does. Astro is fucking clean. Especially now they sorted the card system out, finally. Be a bit smoother. That took some getting used to, but got used to it eventually. I think what I want, though, is I just want them to not, dilute any jobs if they can. I don't want them to, feel diluted. I don't mind if, the tanks don't all play the same. I'm quite okay with that. They currently kind of do, but with some subtle differences, but they always kind of play all the same. I wouldn't mind it if they did sort of diversify up a little bit. I don't mind having to learn a job. Ninja's fun, but you have to learn ninja. Because you gotta do all the fucking ninja signs and I don't remember all them. If I was playing it right now, I might be able to do it, but I don't remember all them. But it's like a rare thing. Excuse me. Oh, it's like a rare thing to like have now. That like complexity. A little complexity is okay. Like, it's why I don't completely hate Black Mage, because the complexity's there, and I think a little complexity is okay. Nothing crazy, but a little complexity. A bit of learning or relearning when you go back to it would be fine. It'd mean that you could sit there and feel pretty good about yourself learning the job fully in its minutiae. But as you say, adding too much would make things worse. A little streamlining wouldn't hurt for some of them. Black Mage definitely wouldn't hurt. A little streamlining, just make it a little smoother. Like Red Mage, I feel pretty good at Red Mage. Red Mage is clean. That is a smooth, clean job. It does good damage. I was like Pictomancer again, clean. Maybe too clean. I don't know. It's a lot of damage. Machinist, no one that was pretty decent now. Bard could actually, no, fucking Bard could do a little pass. Just a little workover, you know. Give them a little something, because oh boy. They've had a few changes over the years, and god, I don't know what to do with them. I want to like them, I really do, but there's some little aspects of Bard I'm like, I don't know. Dancer does most of Bard's job, but better, is the thing. And I'm a bit worried, like, well, what about the next ranged DPS? Ranged physical DPS? That's the last slot they haven't got all four in. And it's like, well, what happens then? Because they're going to do a fourth one. You know they're going to do a fourth one. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. They're going to do a fourth ranged DPS. I was surprised they didn't do it this time. I was genuinely expecting a ranged and a magical. But they did another physical melee. But we'll get a physical ranged. We will. It'll be like a crossbow, perhaps, or a cannon of some. It'll be something. I mean, we've got Dancer that throws stuff, Bard that shoots a bow. We've got Machinist that shoots a gun. So it's like, okay, what now? What other ranged weapons do we have? There's definitely a couple we could probably look at. Maybe like a javelin type thing, like a hunter or something. Maybe like a crossbowman. There's definitely shit they can pull out. Some fancy stuff. But that'll be for the next expansion, which will be some time away, so we'll see. Give me Corsair, damn it. I mean, I wouldn't be against that. I would not be against that. I mean, hell, Corsair could be like the Red Mage equivalent for physical DPS. A physical DPS that has elements of melee. I would not be against that. I've said that for the longest time. Like, people said about Time Mage, and well, I've always said, well, hey, what about a Time Mage healer? You just undo the damage. Just a use of time magic that you don't see very often. That'd be kind of interesting. Plus, it would be nice if they actually had some crowd control shit. I mean, there's also a place in Limsa that has, like, the pistols and shit that we just never do anything with. So, that would be a perfect place to do it. Actually, completely perfect, actually. I mean, Corsair would very obviously be Limsa. But, I'm fine with that. No issue with me, honestly. Put it in Limsa. Give me the pirate class. Right. I think that is me for today, though. I am very tired, I must admit. I didn't realize how tired I was going to be by this point. So, I think before I start yawning more and becoming even harder to understand, I'll wrap it up here. So, thank you all for being here today. As always, you have been a complete pleasure. I will see you tomorrow for some Total War Warhammer, hopefully. And as I say, it'll be a short week this week. Only streaming tomorrow and Saturday, but we're gonna have some fun. And the following week, we're gonna have a good time. So I hope to see you all next couple days. If I don't see you, then please have a very Merry Christmas. And do take care of yourselves, excuse me. Alright. But until next time, it's tough for now. And of course, I'm going to see if I can raid somebody.